Welcome to the Knuckleheads of Liberty.
What better to talk about than all of this crazy leaking at the Supreme Court, sort of the mother of all leaks, I guess, at the Supreme Court on abortion. So the Roe versus Wade is coming. Maybe we could get a visual on this. Roe versus Wade is coming up, and the first time ever this topic has been, or a decision that has in draft form has been leaked to the press. And so that's never happened before, and so everybody's speculating it's probably a left activist, because it is the decision is going to strike down Roe, it sounds like. Which
apparently.
Yes, that's what it sounds like from what's been leaked to the press. And of course, it was kind of odd. The leak happened, and suddenly all these different media outlets had it, and there was a mob outside the Supreme Court right away. So it's almost like it was orchestrated, you might say. But anyways, this is apparently is going to send it back to the state. So every state will have their be able to put their own ideas onto this. And so, two sort of big issues on this: both the idea that it's there was this crazy leak that could potentially, because this isn't a final decision yet, right? So maybe there'll be pressure on justices now, which has never happened, to try and change their opinions before they actually give their final signature on these things, I guess. And so there's that. And then the idea that now we're going to have all this activity in the states on figuring out what abortion rights to be. But before you start saying, hey, isn't this just a bunch of guys talking about abortion? We don't need to hear that again. But fortunately, the left has given us an in, so that now all of us can talk. All of us have a voice on abortion. This may not have been the case 5 years ago, but today this is the norm, apparently, with the left. So we all get to have our voice. Anyways, let me throw it to you guys, and there's just an image of the justices here to give a little flavor to all this. What do you guys think of all this?
The hypocrisy involved in all of this is so amazing and stunning. It's unbelievable. On one hand, we have a Supreme Court justice, soon to be, who could not define woman. But yet, when this thing was leaked, and everybody knew, it's apparent that the Supreme Court will now strike down Roe versus Wade and also strike down Casey, which was one of the supplemental decisions that boosted the ruling in Roe versus Wade. All of a sudden now they have just discovered that there's something called woman. Before, we didn't know, we couldn't define it. A Supreme Court justice, she will be there soon. She couldn't define woman because she's not a biologist. But suddenly, when they find out that Roe versus Wade may be struck down, all of a sudden we found out, well, this is going to be an infringement upon the rights of women. How amazing that this turnaround have occurred in a matter of weeks, that suddenly we know who a woman is. This is truly, truly amazing. But the leak, though, is something very serious. Very, very serious. In the sense that this is a breach of trust. Because all of the employees there within the Supreme Court, all the clerks and everybody else, they have taken a solemn oath to hold all of their stuff confidential until the Supreme Court issues a final decision. But yet, someone who want to have it their way, her, he or she, I don't know, maybe it's a multitude of them who did this, I don't know. But they are trying to influence a court in a way that they think is the just outcome. And we cannot have this. So I hope this is investigated. I do not know what laws have been broken, if there were any, but if there are any laws broken, I hope someone is prosecuted or some bodies are prosecuted for the breach of trust that have occurred by leaking this draft decision written by Samuel Alito.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that's the most serious one. I don't even at this point want to talk about, the Roe v. Wade thing. No, it's just the whole the leak, like Leon says. I mean, it's super serious, and yeah, they should be prosecuted. Everything Leon said, I agree with, and And so there's that facet, and then there's the facet of these protests now. Apparently, because of the leak, now they are politicizing, like they try to politicize everything. Politicize your pork chops you're having for dinner, or your spaghetti. I mean, they got to politicize everything. They can't leave anything alone. So of course, the Supreme Court, same thing. Can't leave it alone. Got to politicize it, and got to try to influence it politically with these protests and all this other nonsense. Well, sorry, that's not how it's supposed to be. And this. Hopefully, the Supreme Court will, take the higher ground here and not give in to any of this pressure, and just rule the way they normally rule, which is based on their interpretation of constitutional law, the law of the land, and that's it. Sorry, folks, it doesn't matter how many. It's not democratic. Sorry, it was just based on the Constitution. At this point, it's not democratic.
Yeah. According to what we learned from the leak, right now there's a 5-3 decision. I think John Roberts have not yet decided where he's going to fall on this, but there's a 5-3 decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, if that do not turn out to be the case, that means some one of the justices would have changed his or her mind. Now, it is normal. A justice may change their mind, from time to time. It does happen, okay? But if a justice now change his or her mind because of the leak, or make it appear that it changed because of the leak, then these things are going to happen in the future. That as soon as a decision is coming out that somebody don't agree with, or somebody find, oh my goodness gracious, this is an attack on women, attack on blacks, an attack on whoever, they're going to start leaking these decisions. And sooner or later...
Don't forget that. Oh my God, they're going to rule in favor of gun control. It's a close tie. We better leak this one.
There you go. Exactly. So it will encourage, if the justices give into this in any way, shape, or form, or even appear to give into this,
well,
this is just going to incentivize more leaks.
Well, this is almost incentivizing an insurrection, you might say, because after all, this was a government body that was getting ready to essentially set constitutional or clarify constitutional law for the nation. And if the intent was to get a mob of people out there to violently protest, to change.
Oh my God, that's right.
That sounds like an insurrection to me.
It's
no doubt.
You know what it is? Also, aside from that, it's a coup. It's another coup.
Yes.
Because they're talking about that. So all these liberal idiots that that I see talking here, there, everywhere. They're talking about the coup. There's a coup that happened on January 6th. So I looked up first of all, I had to look up, okay, now what, I think I know what a coup means, but let me look it up. Okay, a coup d'etat, coup for short, French, by the way, COUP. And so I looked up, and in the course of looking, of course, the definition is nothing like what happened on the 6th. Maybe that's why Wikipedia, in its list of all coups going back historically, for some reason, they left out the January 6th coup. Apparently, I can't figure out why. If it was such a horrible coup, you would think that Wikipedia would have put it into their adjusted it, because they've had plenty of time to adjust and put in the coup that occurred on January 6th. But no, and so why?
Yeah, it's beyond human intelligence to figure that one out, Tim. Really it is.
Well, I've got to say too, on this, I think some of us have different ideas on abortion, but I mean, I'm saying that this is something that this person, if they get caught, whoever leaked this, should be treated rather harshly, as the law will allow.
Yes.
And yet, I am actually for somebody who is more on the pro-choice side of things on this. It's not necessarily because I want to see abortions happen. I just don't want the government to have the birth police running around out there looking under every lady's skirt. So I mean, that's kind of, at least where I'm kind of coming from. So it's not that you can be principled on this and be pro-choice and still be against what happened in this particular circumstance. So anyways,
well, are you saying this person, if they find them, that should be aborted?
Well,
yeah, post-pregnancy abortion.
Yeah,
before that,
well, at least, at the very least, their freedom should be aborted. Yes.
All righty.
Thank you for listening to the Knuckleheads of Liberty podcast.